Hey everybody, welcome to the pond. It is super peaceful and quiet. It is still, it's like calm before the storm. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important things that has happened to this country since I've been alive. And that has to do with the amount of illegal immigrants that are coming here, not exactly coming through the border, they're flying over it. Trump brought up, he said, quote, "Today it was announced that 325,000 people were flown in from parts unknown." We're going to get into the facts of that, because that's what I want to talk about on this channel. And if you want to get in the facts, go to the Center for Immigration. Just see what the Customs and Border Protection discloses. And it's amazing. I don't think they're lying. Maybe Biden would wish they would. Oh, and by the way, if you're listening to my stock, I'm making videos about when politicians buy stocks, and I have been encouraged to not do that anymore. So I'm still going to do it. I'm just going to have to not say names, I think. So bear with me on that. I'll make it apparent. But just so you know, they are buying Pfizer at the moment, a few of them anyway. It said the administration refused to list individual airports where people arrived under Biden's parole program. It's been around since '52. He just uses it more than anybody else. It allows Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans to stay in the U.S. for 2 years. It's not random. In effect, since January 2023, up to 30,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela can enter the country monthly if they apply online with a financial sponsor and arrive at a specific airport paying their own way. Now just wait just a second. I thought these were poor immigrants that wanted a better life. We need to find out. What needs to be disclosed is who the sponsor is. That's who we need to watch. That's who they owe. The person that's flown over here owes them big. What do they need to do for this financial sponsor? You smelling what I'm stepping in? The facts. Each month, U.S. Customs and Border Protection discloses how many people from these 4 countries were allowed into the country. On January 26th, the agency reported 327,000 were vetted and authorized for travel. There were more than 67,000 Cubans, 126,000 Haitians, 53,000 Nicaraguans, and 81,000 Venezuelans. The Center for Immigration Studies article says CBP approved flights that brought 320,000 to the United States last year. The author, Todd Bensman, learned they came to 43 airports. They will not disclose the airports. Is that not our... Is that... do we need to know about that? I mean, I feel like it's like my responsibility to know who's showing up. You know, I need to know who's around me. It's right. We ought to know who, immediately when the politicians buy a stock. I mean, if they're making 32% in the stock market, we ought to know. There shouldn't be this, you know, all this, we're going to disclose stuff and they lie about everything when the truth would do better. Anyway, I'm a little riled up about the stock stuff. It's a bummer I can't keep talking about it, but I will. Don't worry. Now here's the problem, guys. The migrants are not coming from parts unknown, as Trump charged. CBP vets each one for eligibility and publishes the number of airport arrivals from Cuba. Well, we don't know. You know, they're not telling. They're telling some of the truth, I guess. Social media post Well, it's about Elon Musk. He says they're doing it for votes. Biden has exercised parole authority far more than any of his predecessors. Trump calls it an outrageous abuse. At least 1 million people using parole, not just 327,000 who flew from Cuba and the other countries, 1 million that needed a financial partner. They needed help getting here. That's the moral of this story. What's happening to this country is called an invasion. That's what that we need to start calling it what it is, and maybe we'll act appropriately. If you don't have a way to defend yourself from the nationalists that serve other countries, just think about that. They're groomed. They're groomed to do a good job. Not all of them. Some people are coming over here for a better life. I get it. But what if it was just one? What if it was one that had the guts to pack dynamite in a van and drive it into a daycare? Is it worth it? What the Biden administration has done is unbelievable. I hope it will go down in history. And he doesn't know what he's doing, guys. He doesn't know if he's washing, drying, or hanging out. It is so obvious he's got dementia. It's mind-boggling. I feel sorry for him. He doesn't know. Well, I don't really feel sorry for him because he's been a bad person his whole life. Look at his kids. You know, the fruit doesn't fall far from the trees, all I'm saying. But there is an end game. And I wrote a few notes down. Oh, by the way, Louisiana is pushing silver and gold for currency. And that's, they're working on it. I hope they do good, but I just have my doubts, guys. The feds are not going to like that. The Federal Bank Reserve that operates everything that manipulates the stock markets in cahoots with Nancy Pelosi and all of them, they're not going to want you to have legal money, real money. No, they want you to have a CBDC. That's the end game. It's getting dark. I'm sorry. I'll hurry. I figure this national security crisis that has been created, can we all agree on that? There's been a national security crisis that's been created. And they're going to use this crisis to do all kinds of things. Now, I'm going to leave it up to you to name all of them. Put them in the comments if you don't mind. We know for certain, and if I'm wrong, correct me, there's an economic collapse in the mail. It's on the way. Debt levels, do the math, it's a mathematical fact. We can't even pay the interest. It's just a matter of time. They're weaponizing the currency, all that stuff with Russia. And Russia said, that was stupid. Did you watch that? He was like, yeah, that was dumb. Well, here we are. The end game is the global push to digital IDs and programmable money. That is the ultimate control. Just imagine scanning your eyeball to buy food or whatever. Facial recognition. They've got cameras now that pick your face up from 50 meters away. China's riddled with them. That's the Big Brother thing rolling out in 1984. That's what's happening. I say it all the time, but for real. Countries like the UK, the US, EU, Israel, China, and others agree on plans for digital IDs and surveillance. I'm not trying to scare anybody. That's just the way it is. That's part of it. So we can check that one. What do we do about it? I could read you some more, but it's getting dark. What are we going to do about it? Well, number one, you got to take care of number one, or you can't take care of anybody else. And number one, if you're responsible for somebody, you need to have a way to protect them. Okay? If you're responsible for yourself, because you can't help anybody if you're in trouble or you can't do anything. You've got to figure out a way to protect your family from, let's just say, somebody that serves another master. Guys, we're being invaded, and it's obvious. Nobody can dispute that. I mean, they can call it something else, but there's no other way around it. Our own government is flying people over in planes to different countries. I've got a video of a congressman from Georgia walking into a room with his camera in his pocket, a bunch of illegals. They won't let him in the door. They don't have to disclose it. They're flying him over here. Elon Musk thinks it's for votes. Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy. He's probably right. But it might be for something a little more sinister. Guys, have an awesome, awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Later.